Hey everyone, imagine that you're hired to work at this office, but if the goals aren't met, you'll be eliminated. This is the plot of the 2012 movie Red Incorporated, so make sure to leave a like to be an exemplary employee, and let's dive into the story. A beautiful woman in red arrives at a company and heads straight to the manager's office. Shortly after, she leaves and takes the elevator, where a man is already inside, waiting to go down. So far, everything seems normal. But when the elevator opens, the man is holding an axe, and the woman's head is on the floor. A young woman witnesses this and assumes he is the culprit. The police begin announcing that the case of the CEO decapitator has been solved, and he was found. Months later, after receiving a life sentence in a mental institution, a report shows that the decapitator died in a fire while trying to escape, and everyone could finally relax. Now we meet Annabelle, a young woman looking for a job. During an interview, the woman tells her that she isn't competent enough for the position but says that maybe if a lower position opens up, she'll consider calling her. Not just Annabelle, but I also felt humiliated. Since she can't afford to be unemployed, she prepares for an online job. She does the famous face cam. The problem is that during the dance, the man asks if she wants a job and inquires about her expectations for the next 5 years. She turns off the camera because she doesn't like such jokes. She stops to drink something and gets ready for the next client. But when she returns, she realizes someone tampered with her computer, and she's captured by a mysterious man. Annabelle wakes up in a place that seems to be an office. She is chained to a chair and a computer desk along with other people, none of whom know why they're there or who the others are. Only one man seems to know what to do, as it's time to start working before the boss arrives. He's visibly disturbed, as if he's been there for a long time. The boss arrives and starts placing a notebook and a cup of water on each desk. Once everyone receives theirs, he instructs them to drink the water and then explains the rules of the job. He says they're entitled to 3 bathroom breaks, 2 social breaks, and they'll have food every day. They just need to type what's in the notebooks. Guys, I'd send my resume already, there's food and bathroom breaks. It's better than working at McDonald's. They start typing for hours, but they begin to think it might be some kind of prank. Annabelle is the fastest, and when the boss brings food, she gets an apple as a gift. But the man who had been there for a long time eats before the boss tells him to and loses his lunch for the day. In anger, he stabs the boss in the leg with a pencil, and as a punishment, the boss removes his hand. Underneath, there's a blade, and here's the next rule: everyone is allowed up to 5 warnings. After that, they'll be fired. Since this man committed something serious, he's made an example of. The boss decapitates him, and another woman can't type because she needs glasses. The boss, being helpful, finds some for her. And in the same drawer where he got the glasses, he stores the man's head. It was time for a break, and since Annabelle was the best one there, she would be the first to go. She had 5 minutes in the bathroom, but with all the pressure, it was hard to do anything. However, she noticed that the pipes had some loose screws, and little by little, she could unscrew them to try to escape. The problem was that she took longer than 5 minutes and received her first warning. Everyone asked her what she had managed to see. The shift ended, and they needed to rest before starting another day. To begin the new journey, they would go through an evaluation, and the man in charge was named Thomas Redman. He explained that she was there because she was a witness to a crime in the elevator, where she saw him with an axe and a deceased person. She described what she saw, but it didn't prove anything, so she would be responsible for finding the real culprit. He handed her a box full of documents and evidence, and everyone started analyzing it to try to find something useful. The man next to her was the detective in charge of the case. He had gathered all the evidence to ensure he was arrested. The woman in front of them was a psychic who claimed to have helped the police. The man with black hair was the public defender, and the blonde guy was another witness. So, everyone was somehow connected. If he was wrongly convicted, they all played a part. The detective explained that what happened to him after he was taken was outside the law. Patients were made to suffer. The psychic said she would use his psychological state to get everyone released. As soon as he arrived, she claimed he was a good guy and didn't want to do this, but he said he did want to and gave her a warning. Meanwhile, the blonde guy was bothered by a splinter that had gotten under his nail. Red appeared with a pair of pliers and said he would take it out so he wouldn't lose his finger to an infection. The problem was that he pulled off the entire nail, and everyone started feeling sick from seeing that. Annabelle is listening to a call from one of the victims and hears a strange breathing sound in the background before the crime, but she doesn't know what it is. It's lunchtime, and Annabelle says that in the bathroom there was an exit through the pipes, and she would try to escape that way and call the police, hoping everything would work out, though it's unclear if it will. They start to suspect something is off with the food because it tastes like medicine, which they realize is meant to keep them from waking up in the middle of the night. Red removes the body next to them so they can focus on the following day. Annabelle takes advantage of the next bathroom breaks to continue loosening the screws, but in doing so, she accumulates more warnings. As the day goes on, we know what's about to happen, but that's not the real problem. Everyone starts getting warnings for talking too much or not being productive enough since they're all just trying to survive. They start bad-mouthing the psychic because they believe she's a fraud. Red appears to evaluate her and asks how she helped the case to incriminate him. She claims to have visions, but that's the scam. She earned $6 per minute of session and became very famous after the case. So, everything was set up by her to make money. To prove she can't actually see anything, Red makes the 5th mark on her forehead, and now she's fired. In her desperation, she admits she couldn't see anything, and Red says that since she can't see, she doesn't need eyes, and he tears them out with his own hands. This serves as a warning to anyone who lies on their resume. Red then assigns William, the blonde guy, to clean the blood-soaked desk, and since he does a good job, he earns a point for the company. Once again, everyone is called in for an evaluation and starts sharing their viewpoints. Some see him smiling, others look scared, but when it's the public defender's turn, Red points out that, based on the elevator's height, it would have been impossible for him to use the axe to decapitate someone. So, he didn't do a good job defending him, and now he realizes he really arrested the wrong person. Annabelle begins looking through the documents and finds the names of all the witnesses. There was a man named Peter Brava, but he was a witness in Red's favor because, on the day of one of the deaths, he was fired by Red, and all the evidence backed this up. But since the detective needed to blame someone, he decided to hide this witness because the media was all over him. Here are 2 key points that show it couldn't have been him. The detective admits that 80% of the evidence could point to him, but the remaining 20% proves he didn't do anything. He feels guilty, but when he lost the use of his legs, he felt as if he had paid for his mistake. What he didn't know was that Red was listening to everything, and now he was going to be taken to human resources. Red says that since he didn't want to do the job right, he would lose his legs, and everyone hears his screams. Now, it's the big moment. Annabelle already has 4 warnings, so she will do anything to escape. During the bathroom break, she opens the pipe and finds some matches to light her way. Red notices, and she falls into the human resources room, where the special surgeries are done. There, she finds someone still alive, the judge who ruled the case. He asks her to let him die because he couldn't take it anymore, and he had been there for 6 months. Red enters the room and kills the judge, and to defend herself, Annabelle hits him with the chair-bound man's legs. She grabs the keys to save the others, and this is the moment of escape. They block the door with a cupboard and call the police from his office. Now comes the moment of revelation. The public defender stays behind to hold the door while they open the elevator, but he doesn't know how to defend himself and ends up dying. The problem is that as soon as the 2 of them enter the elevator, William starts breathing strangely, and Annabelle remembers the recording. She realizes he's the real decapitator, and it would be her end. But Red throws the body on top of them, and now everything makes sense. She seizes the opportunity to run, and outside, the police are waiting, so she's saved. Red packs his things and leaves. A few months later, Annabelle is at home, calm. This traumatic experience became her biggest success because she wrote a book and made a lot of money. However, due to the trauma, she doesn't leave the house. Her agent tells her that she has to attend a book launch and that he will pick her up that night, so she prepares for the event. Her agent arrives, and she opens the door happily, but William appears behind him and gives him a light fatal blow. So, her nightmare returns to torment her. She starts running around the house to survive and manages to jab a key into his eye, then escapes the house. But on the other side of the street, a mysterious man in a trench coat appears. It's Red. So, from one side comes the crap, and from the other comes the worst. But Red decapitates William and says that for now, she is forgiven. She then appears at the book launch with William's head and says that the second part is coming soon. And that was the movie Red Incorporated. So, if you want the job, just comment "I want it," and tomorrow I'll come pick you up. Now, leave a like and subscribe if you're new. I've got to go because my shift is starting. Thanks to everyone, and goodbye.